Hello. This week's discussion involved reviewing the case of the Millers on Chapter 11, where Marcus session was used applying the reality theory therapy. One of the key points to this therapy is the relationship built amongst client and the therapist. And we are going to discuss what reality therapy is and the basis of it. Central to reality therapy is the idea that our total behavior, which includes our actions, our thinking processes, our feelings, and our physiological responses, as a result of our efforts to satisfy the pictures in our quality world stated by Newkirk in our textbook. In order to better help Marcus, we need to establish that he can take control of his own actions. We can help him by planning. We can help him by seeing how his goals are met and if what he's doing is helping him achieve those goals. One of the techniques that would be used in order to build a relationship with Marcus and to have him understand the basic tenets of reality therapy would have to be the needs and wants of Marcus. As we all know, as individuals, we all have different perceptions of our wants and needs. What I want is very different to what you want, to what Marcus wants, and so forth. So individuals' wants are unique and are based on the need strength profile as reflected in one's quality world. As individuals, we have different perspectives of what the meaning of love and belonging, what the meaning of fun and freedom mean to us, in which we have to establish what Marcus' individual wants and needs would be. The next technique would be the internal control, establishing that the way we feel is optimal for our individual choices. Making this clear to Marcus would set a foundation in our therapeutic session. Those who live with a sense of internal control thoughtfully and actively choose their behaviors and consider how their actions will affect others. So if I'm doing something right now, I always have to be understanding of how that can affect my spouse or my mother or the people that surround me, of course. And that's basically what that is saying. Going forth in Marcus sessions and applying the WDEP system, it would benefit him greatly. Now let's start off by discussing what the WDEP stands for. This system stands for W, the wants of the client, what the client is doing in his or her life's direction, and E, evaluating if what the client is doing is working and developing what I mentioned earlier. P, a plan of action that can be implementing. This will help establish the foundation of the therapy and how successful the outcome for the client is. So remember how the client is doing in his or her direction, and then evaluating that to see if what the client is doing at that moment is helping them or working to develop their plan of action, right? Are they on the right path to what they want? Are their goals going to be reached by what they're doing, or are they not? One of the questions I would ask, what multicultural issue could we face with Marcus? And so one of the biggest multicultural issues that we can encounter with him would probably be his sexual orientation, as well as being briefed on his spiritual and religious beliefs in his culture, especially in reality theory. Why is this important? This is because it tends to focus solely on the individual, reverse the idea that all individuals can heal themselves and minimize the impact of discrimination and racism, right? So we know that as therapists, we have to be very multicultural competent. We have to understand that our race and our beliefs and our religious beliefs are not the same as a client's, and so we have to be very understanding and very respectful towards that, especially in reality therapy, because how can they reach their goals and how can they reach how can we help them reach their goals if we're not understanding of, how about if they're not opening up to us because of their religious beliefs or their cultural beliefs, and they're not able to open up to us as therapists, okay, because of their beliefs. So we have to be very understanding and get briefed on their religious beliefs first, and their cultural beliefs, just a small bit, just so we can better understand it. The two major differences that would stand out for an REBT therapist views an individual's belief system as generally being created early in life. They believe that irrational beliefs that fuel maladaptive ways of living can be changed at any point, which means that a person has control of changing their beliefs by following the theory, basically. So REBT therapists think that a person can be changing the way that they feel or the way that they think, their irrational beliefs, throughout their life, versus, which means that a person, like I said, has control of changing their beliefs by following the theory, versus the WDEP system, which we already went through, which stands for the wants of the client, is where the therapist explores the ideas and wants, as mentioned before, of the client and what the client is doing to achieve these goals, thus creating a plan to help the client achieve these. Okay, so those are the differences between an REBT and the WDEP system. One says that we can change our maladaptive ways, versus the other one is exploring the ways that we can change with a plan of action. So that is basically what we had to do for the discussion. I hope you all enjoyed this video, and if you all have any comments or any additional questions that you all may have, I would greatly be open to a lot of feedback. Thank you.